Next topic is combinations of electric cells. Now as you know that any electrical device, any electrical circuit, if you consider, we can combine all the devices either in series combination or in parallel combination. So first we will consider the combinations of cells in series. Alright. Now let us consider there are different cells. Okay, let us consider there are cells which is connected, n number of cells let us consider. There are n number of cells connected in series with an external resistance R. Okay, E is EMF of each cell. Alright, small r is internal resistance of each cell, and how many cells are there? N. So n is the number of cells connected in series. Alright. So you see, if you consider what is the current, what is the expression for electric current in the circuit? Electric current is net EMF divided by net resistance, isn't it? So in this case, if you consider the net resistance, alright, how many smaller are there? N number of R's are there, and it is connected with bigger, and all are connected in series because you see the same amount of current is passing through all of them. So you can write like this, R plus R, how many times? N times. This is the total internal resistance plus the external resistance connected with the cells. Alright, so one can write what is the net resistance? R plus NR. Is that clear? Next one is very important. What is the net EMF of the cell? We know EMF is a scalar quantity. So you see, according to the concept, here if you consider the EMF of this cell, then all of them, if I consider this is E, this is E, this is E, like that, what is the EMF of the entire cells? It will be nothing but N into E. Yes or not? As they are connected in series, and EMF is a scalar quantity, the work done, it represents the work done, isn't it? So what you can write, what is the net EMF of the cell, net EMF of the combination N into E. This is the important one. Alright. So what is the current in the circuit? Current in the circuit is net EMF divided by net resistance. So how much you are getting? Net EMF is NE and net resistance is R plus NR. So when the cells are connected in series, then what is the current passing through it? Current passing through it is given by this relation. Alright, N into E divided by R plus NR. Now if you consider this relation, I is equal to NE by R plus NR. Now in this case, two situations may arise. That external resistance is much bigger than the internal resistance. Then you see, if R is much bigger than R, then you can just drop this term in comparison to R. Alright? Okay? So you can write I, excuse me. So you can write I as NE divided by R. Alright? So what you can write? It is N times current supplied by one cell. What is this? E by R. This is the current supplied by one cell. Alright. And it is N times the current supplied by one cell. What does it mean? This is the point you have to remember. When R greater than R, smaller, then current in the circuit is maximum. Alright, so this is the important point. You are not allowed to forget it. That, okay, then next let us consider the second case. In the second case, if I consider that external resistance is smaller, much smaller than the internal resistance, then you see you can write it as NE divided by NR, because R you can drop in comparison to N into R. So you can get it E by R. So I is equal to how much? Current supplied by one cell. Alright, so look at this. Here in the first case it is N times current supplied by one cell, and here it is current supplied by one cell. So when current is maximum, under which condition current will be maximum? When the cells are connected in series, when the external resistance is much higher than the internal resistance, then current in the circuit will be maximum. This is a very important point. You are supposed to remember it, and you are supposed to remember the expression for current also. I is equal to Ne by R plus N. Next one is the cells are connected in parallel. So here also we have taken the identical n number of cells. Each of them are having EMFE and inductor resistance R. They are connected in parallel. Then the combination is connected with the external resistance R. Alright. Now in this case, the most important thing is that what will be the net EMF? Net EMF is equal to E. This is the most important one. Why? Because you see all the cells, they are connected across the same 2 points. Okay. So what will be the net EMF of the circuit? Net EMF of the circuit is E. You must remember it. You must understand it. Why net EMF? I have not written N into E. Because all the cells, they are not added one after another. Rather, all the cells are connected across the same 2 points. So, what will be the net EMF of the circuit? Net EMF of the circuit is E. Then you see, what is the total internal resistance? You see all the internal resistance, they are connected in parallel. And you know, when all the resistances are connected in parallel, equal resistance is connected in parallel, then what is the equivalent resistance? Resistance of one resistor divided by total number of resistors. So this is the total internal resistance. Then what is the net resistance of the circuit? This is connected in series with R. So what is the net resistance of the circuit? It is total internal resistance plus the external resistance. Alright. So you see, one can write it as R plus NR divided by N. This is the net resistance. So what will be the current in the circuit? Current in the circuit is net EMF divided by net resistance. Alright. So you see, if you simplify it, you are getting at Ne divided by R plus NR. But after looking at the final expression Ne by R plus NR, don't make the conclusion that Ne is the net EMF. That is the common mistake. Generally, the children, those who do not study properly, they do. So that's why I am reminding you, don't do the mistake after seeing the final result that net EMF is Ne. No, net EMF is E, and it is coming, this N is coming up due to the N in the net resistance. Alright, I hope what I mean to say you have understood it. Now in this case also, if you consider external resistance is bigger than the internal resistance. So if external resistance is bigger than internal resistance, then you can drop this term. So what you are getting, I is equal to, external resistance is bigger than this one means you can drop smaller. I have said it wrongly. R is bigger. Okay, so we cannot drop this term. We can drop smaller term because smaller is smaller. So you can write it as N into R. So you are getting E by R. Means what? It is current supplied by one cell. Is that clear? So it is not, cannot be the maximum current. Now, if R is less than, external resistance is smaller than the internal resistance, then you see what is happening. I will be Ne by R, means N times current supplied by one cell. So in this case, when current is maximum, When under which condition current is maximum? When the cells are connected in parallel, it is, you can write, when big R is less than smaller, then I is maximum. Okay, so this is the point you have to remember. It is just opposite to the series combination. In case of series combination, what we got? When R is bigger than, external resistance is bigger than internal resistance, then current was maximum. But in case of parallel combination, what we have got? This is a very important one, very important point. That when we get current maximum, when we are using cells in parallel combination, when the external resistance is smaller than the internal resistance. But when the cells are connected in series combination, then when external resistance is greater than internal resistance, then current is maximum. Now let us consider the mixed combination. This concept is very little complicated. Please try to have a very clear concept of it. So you see how we have taken, first of all we have taken the cells connected in series, alright, and how many cells you have taken? N. N is the number of cells in each row. So how many cells you have taken in one row? N. And then how many rows are there? There are M number of rows. Alright, and then so you see each row they are connected parallel to each other. Then this entire combination is now connected with the external resistance R. Alright, now how to handle this? So you see, we can simplify this circuit like this if we apply our concept of the series connection. If there are n number of cells here, then you see what will be the net EMF. Net EMF will become NE. So I can write as if there is one cell of net EMF NE and net internal resistance NR. Can you do that? And after that, how many this kind of cells you are having? You are having M number of cells. Okay, how many cells you are having? This kind of M number of cells. This is the way you can simplify it. Alright. So you see, once we have taken all the series combination together and we have considered that as if there is only one cell of net EMF NE and its internal resistance is NR, then according to this circuit, what is the net EMF? Net EMF is NE. Alright, why net EMF NE? Because all the cells here, they are connected across the same point. So, what is the net EMF of the circuit? NE. Now you see, what is the total internal resistance? Total internal resistance is, there are NR resistance in each cell, and how many this kind of cells are there? M number of cells. So, what is the, and they are connected in parallel. So, what is the total internal resistance? Resistance of one cell NR divided by number of cells. How many cells are there? M number of cells. Okay. So, NR by M. This is the total internal resistance. Now, the total internal resistance, it is connected in series with the external resistance R. So, what is the net resistance of the circuit? It will be total internal resistance plus the external resistance. Is that clear? So you see what will be, so according to this relation, this is the point you have to remember. What is the net EMF? NE. And what is the net resistance of the circuit? This is the net resistance of the circuit. So you see, if this is the net EMF and this is the net resistance, what will be the current in the circuit? Current in the circuit will be net EMF divided by net resistance. What is the net resistance? This is the net resistance. Now, if you simplify it, what will happen? It will become NE divided by NR plus MR by M. So, this M you can take it up. So, MNE divided by NR plus MR. So, again I am reminding you, from the final result, don't consider that net EMF is MNE. Do you think from this relation net EMF MNE? No. Net EMF is NE. Net EMF cannot be M and E. Net EMF of the circuit will be N into E. Is that clear? So you must remember that. So this is the expression for current in the mixed combination of cell. Now the question arises here, under which condition I will be, current in the circuit will be maximum. Alright, so you see, first point you can write, I will be maximum when the denominator NR plus MR is minimum. Isn't it? Now you see, NR plus MR, you can write it like this, root NR whole square plus root MR whole square, okay. Then you can write it as minus 2 MNRR plus 2 MNRR. Is that clear? You can write it. Now you see, you can write this way, it is root NR minus root MR whole square plus 2 MNR plus R. You see, the expression I have written as a perfect square plus certain terms. Okay, why I have written it as a perfect square? Because the perfect square may have the value as 0 or positive. Is that clear? Because you see, in this relation there is a negative sign. So this square, it may be 0 or it may be positive. So when NR plus MR is minimum, when this square part is 0, then it will be minimum. Is that clear? So this part 0 means, so you can write, therefore NR plus MR becomes minimum when under root NR minus MR is equal to 0. Is that clear? So under root NR minus MR equal to 0 means what? NR equal to MR. Is that clear? Or you can write it as R is equal to NR by M. So this is the condition for current to be maximum. Alright. So I can write, so you see, one can write here that when R is equal to NR by M, then I is maximum. Now what is this NR by M? I hope you can remember. This is the total internal resistance. So you see, when external resistance is equal to total internal resistance, then current is maximum. So this is one point. Then next point you have to remember, what is the expression for maximum current? So you see here, according to this relation, NR equal to MR. So one can write it like this, MNE divided by 2NR. You can write, because in place of MR, you can write NR, or you can write it as, in place of NR, you can write MR, or you can write like this. Okay, so you can write what is the expression for maximum current. Either it is ME by 2 small r, or it is NE by 2 big R. This is the expression for maximum current. Okay, both the way you can write. ME by 2 small r or NE by 2 big R. Okay, this is the expression for maximum current. So you see, combinations of cell, it is such a fantastic topic. What are the ultimate result we have got? That when the cells are connected in series, then when external resistance is greater than the internal resistance, current is maximum. Then when the cells are connected in parallel, in that case, when external resistance is less than internal resistance, then current is maximum. And the last one, when the cells are in mixed combination, in that case, when current is maximum, when external resistance is equal to total internal resistance. And this is the expression for the maximum current in the mixed combination of cells. Now I am going to discuss the most interesting, important topic of this chapter. Okay, Kirchhoff's laws. If you consider any complicated electric circuit, then in the complicated electric circuit, what are the relations between the current passing through the different conductors, different paths, what are the potential difference? All these things we can get from this Kirchhoff's laws. There are two laws. Okay, so I am discussing first the Kirchhoff's first law. It is also known as the junction rule or also known as node rule. Alright, now what is the concept? Just try to get it. Suppose in a complicated electric circuit, you are getting that at a point, different branches of current, they are coming, means just consider that suppose this is known as the junction or this is known as the node. Alright, node means what? The point at which in an electric circuit different branches of electric currents are meeting. That is known as the node or junction. So suppose we have considered one junction where let us consider that these are the currents, different 5 branches of currents are meeting. Alright, but you see here, you look at the direction of the current as I have given, I1 and I2, it is entering into the node and or node or junction, and I3, I4, I5, they are coming out from the junction. Alright. Now what is the statement of the Kirchhoff's law? Kirchhoff's law states that in an electric circuit, the algebraic sum of all electric currents meeting at a point is 0. Means you can write it algebraic sum, so sigma I is equal to 0. Alright. Now what is the meaning of this one? Meaning of the statement, just try to understand it. When you are considering the sum of all the currents I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, then it will give to 0. But when you will take the algebraic sum, then you have to use one sign convention here. Alright, what is the sign convention? The current approaching the node is considered as positive. I repeat, current approaching the node is considered as positive. Current moving away from the node, alright, they are considered as negative. So you see, according to this relation, I can write I1 is positive, I2 is positive, but look at I3, it is coming away from the node, it is moving away from the node. So I3 is negative, I4 negative, I5 negative is equal to 0. So you see what you are getting, I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4 plus I5. What does it mean? Whatever current entering into the node, the same current coming out from the node. Alright, means the node, the junction, the point, it neither can create current nor it can destroy the current. Alright, so what it is doing, what the node or the junction is doing, node or junction just allowing the current to pass through it. So this is the concept of Kirchhoff's law. Very simple. What is the statement? You must learn. Statement is algebraic sum of electric currents meeting at a point or junction is 0, and this is the implication. And when you apply this sigma is 0, then what is the sign convention you have to apply? The current which are moving towards the junction should be taken as positive, and the currents which are moving away from the junction should be taken as negative. So you are getting that I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4 plus I5. Alright. Now, you know that current means actually they are coming from the electric charge, isn't it? Amount of electric charge flowing per second is known as the current. So from this concept, from this relation, what is the important conclusion one can make? That amount of charge entering into the node and amount of charge leaving the node, that is same. Means the node, it is neither creating charge nor it is destroying charge. Is that clear? So you see, Kirchhoff's first law is the statement of conservation of electric charge. So this is the important point. Kirchhoff's first law is is the statement, is the statement of conservation of electric charge. Frequently asked question in all kind of exam. Alright, what does Kirchhoff's first law imply? Kirchhoff's first law implies the statement of conservation of electric charge. And when you will apply the Kirchhoff's first law, please do apply the sign convention. Don't forget to apply the sign convention. Next is Kirchhoff's second law, which is known as loop rule. Now loop means what? It is a closed circuit. Alright. Now in a circuit, the possibilities are there may be a source of EMF and there may be different resistances. Alright. And we know when current passes through the resistance, then there will be a potential difference developed across the resistance. And according to Ohm's law, that potential difference is given by I into the resistance, current into the resistance. Alright. Now Kirchhoff's second law states that in a closed circuit, the algebraic sum of potential differences across different resistances present in the loop is equal to algebraic sum of the EMF in the loop. Means you can write potential difference, we represent it by V. So potential, the sum of the potential difference is equal to sum of the EMF. Now again, potential difference, one can write it as IR, current into R. So this is the voltage law, Kirchhoff's second law or loop rule. So just we consider, suppose we are considering one circuit like this. Now here, this is another symbol I am using. When we write like this, it means it is the cell whose EMF is E1 and internal resistance is R1. Okay, internal resistance actually where it is? Within the electrolyte, isn't it? Now, but we are writing it separately, so we draw the diagram like this. Means this entire dotted part is representing the particular cell. So just consider this kind of circuit. This kind of circuit we are considering. This is R2, means the internal resistance. So, alright, what we have taken? We have taken two cells having EMF E1, internal resistance R1 and EMF E2 and internal resistance R2, and it is connected to another resistance R like this. Okay, so you see here, one may consider how many loops are there? One loop, two loop, okay, two small loop, and one can consider the bigger loop also. Alright, now this Kirchhoff's law you can apply for any loop. You can apply for the first loop, you can apply for the second loop, you can apply for the entire loop also. Alright, so before applying the Kirchhoff's second law, we have to know the sign convention in this case also. Alright, now you consider what is the direction of the EMF. What is the direction of the EMF of a cell? EMF of a cell always directed from the positive terminal of the cell via the external circuit to the negative terminal of the cell. This is the direction of the EMF. Alright? Now, when we apply Kirchhoff's second law, then what we do? We assume a mesh current or loop current. Alright. Now mesh current or loop current, that it depends on you in which direction you will take. You may take in any direction. Alright. So here this dotted line, I am just dotted part, I am just rubbing so that we can understand it in better way. So you see, if I consider the loops, I am naming the loop A, B, C, D, A. Suppose I am considering this loop. Alright, in this loop, mesh current, you assume like this. I have assumed like this. Okay, the current is moving like this. Now, one may assume the current in the opposite direction also. But always it is advised that you assume the current from the positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal of the cell. Then what will happen? You will be able to just avoid the unnecessary negative signs. How? Just try to understand. Why it is, you know that from the positive terminal of the cell current comes out and through the negative terminal it enters. So whenever this kind of loop you will get, the first thing you do is wherever there is a cell, okay, I hope you are following me. Wherever there is a cell, from the positive terminal, you assume one current coming out and it is entering into the cell through the negative terminal. You see here, this is the cell. So I have considered from the positive terminal, first cell, so I1 current coming out, and through the negative terminal, I1 current is entering. Then there is another cell here, so I2 current coming out, I2 current entering. So this is the first step for applying the Kirchhoff's loop rule. Okay, I am repeating what is the first step. In the loop, in the circuit given, wherever there is a cell, you assume that one current is coming out, another current is entering. And some numericals it will be given to you. If it is given to you, then well and good, you don't have to do anything. Not given, then do this work first. Is that clear? Then you just give the direction of the mesh current. You see, this is the direction of the mesh current I have considered, and here I have considered the direction of mesh current like this. You assume it. Okay, then you find out how many resistances are present in the loop. So if I consider the loop A, B, C, D, A. I have considered the loop A, B, C, D, A. Alright? Then, before applying the second rule, we have to consider the first rule here. You just see, I1 current is coming. So here is I1 and here is I2. Then I1 and I2 will enter into the node B. So through R, how much current will come out? I1 plus I2. Is that clear? Now one thing I am doing, you just wait, I will make the circuit bigger so that I can explain it in proper way. I have made the circuit bigger. So here, whenever it is smaller, it implies they are the internal resistors, they are within the cell actually. And what is the first step I said? Wherever there is a cell, you give the direction of the current coming out from the positive terminal, entering through the negative terminal. Then I2 current coming out from the positive terminal, I2 entering into the negative terminal. Then I have named the loop as A, B, C, D, and suppose it is F, H. I am naming the loop like this. Now you see, if I consider the current I1 is coming, then in this branch I1 current, then I2 is coming, there is no branching, nothing here, so I2 will come. Now you see what will happen at the point B. B is the node. I1 and I2 entering, but as you know, according to the first Kirchhoff's law, node rule, that the amount of current entering into the node, the same amount should come out. So how much current is entering into the node? I1 plus I2. So how much current will come out? I1 plus I2. So you see, through the resistance R, how much current is passing? I1 plus I2. Okay, so then you see what will happen after coming here. Here it is I1. So in this branch I1 current is passing, and here I2 current is passing. So this is the way, first of all, you have to show in the diagram that in every path how much is the current passing. Okay, now next one we will apply the Kirchhoff's second rule. A, B, C, D, A. Is that clear? And I said, what will be the next step? You assume a loop current. So you see, here I have considered the loop current from the positive terminal of the cell via the external circuit through the negative terminal. Then here it is positive terminal. So positive terminal to the negative terminal. So this is the way you assume the mesh current. Alright. Then remember, then how to apply the second law? Select, find out how many resistances are there in the particular loop. So ABCDA is the loop. If you consider the loop ABCDA, how many resistances are present? Bigger. So how many resistances are present? R and R1. Write them. Okay. Then multiply each resistance with the current passing through them. So through R, how much resistance passing? I1 plus I2. So it is I1 plus I2 into R. Now look at it. The current through R is in this direction. And what is the direction of the mesh current? In the same direction. So I1 plus I2 into R, this is the potential drop. It will be taken as positive. The actual current passing through the resistance, if it is in the same direction of the mesh current assumed, then it will be taken as positive. And if it is in the opposite direction, then it will be negative. Now look, come for R1. How much current is passing through R1? I1. So it is I1 R1 is the potential difference across R1. Now we have to give the sign here, positive or negative. Now look at it. What is the direction of the mesh current? In this direction. Mesh current is in this direction. What is the direction of the actual current? In the same direction. So I1 R1 positive. Is that clear? Any other resistances are present in the loop? A, B, C, D, and no. So that's all. So this is sigma V, potential sum of the potential differences across the different resistances present in the loop. Alright. Now equal to the net EMF. Now in this case, in the loop, it is simple that only one EMF is present. So I will write down E1. But for EMF also, you have to give the positive and negative sign according to the convention. If the direction of the EMF is in the same direction of the mesh current, it will be considered as positive. So you see, mesh current is in this direction, EMF also from positive through the external circuit to the negative, so it is also in the same direction, so E1 is positive. Is that clear? Now come to the for loop B, C, H, F, B. Down one. How you can write? Again I said, write down the resistances. Identify whatever resistance is present in the circuit. Identify them and write down. So there are two resistances, R and R2. Then multiply each resistance with the current passing through them. So through R of R, I1 plus I2 current is passing, multiply them. Then give the sign. How to give the sign? If the direction of the original current same as that of the mesh current, it will be positive. So come to the next one. How much current is passing through R2? I2. So it is I2 into R2. It is positive or negative? Original current in this direction, mesh current in the same direction. So positive. Is that clear? Then it will be the EMF present in the loop. What is the EMF present in the loop? E2. Now you see, what is the direction of the original EMF? From positive via the external circuit to this one. So same as the mesh current assumed. So it is positive. So this is the way you can get the equations relating the current and EMFs and the resistances present in the circuit. Alright. Now in this case, you see Kirchhoff's second law, what is happening? EMF, they are providing the electric current. Okay, giving us amount of energy per unit charge. Okay. Now you see, when the current is passing through the resistance, then what is happening? Certain amount of potential drop is taking place. Alright. It is just like this. Suppose you have got certain amount of money, that is your income. Then you are spending the money in different, for buying certain different things. That is the expenditure. So income and expenditure, they are equal and no saving, definitely. So in this case, you see what is happening. EMFs are the source of energy, electrical energy they are providing, and when we are sending them through the different resistances, then we are spending the energy doing the work to send the electric current through them. Is that clear? So what is happening? The total energy of the loop, it is remaining constant. Is that clear? It is producing energy and then it is sending the energy through it. So that's why we say Kirchhoff's second law is the statement of conservation of energy. What you can write? That second law, I am not writing Kirchhoff's, it is implied. Kirchhoff's law is the statement of conservation of energy. Alright, first law is the statement of conservation of electric charge. whereas second law is the statement of conservation of energy. So this question you will get as 1 mark question, multiple choice question. That first law is the statement of conservation of electric charge. Second law is the statement of conservation of energy. Don't write electric energy, conservation of energy. Alright. And this is the way one can write down, apply the Kirchhoff's voltage rule or Kirchhoff's second law or loop rule. Thank you, girls.